Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while for me as well. I maybe have forgotten how to take videos, but I'll try my best. We don't often talk about gear here because gear doesn't matter. What matters is your skill and your desire to take pictures. But today we're gonna be talking about this camera, the Ricoh GRiiX that I have owned for the last 10 months, and I have taken brilliant pictures with it and I really love it, and I will tell you why in a second. So why did I decide to buy a Ricoh while I already have a Fujifilm X100V? The camera that is so desired these days that people are ready to pay crazy money for it, and it's practically impossible to buy. Well, there are certain factors that make these cameras different. Compare the size, for example. This and this, this comes with a grip right now, so it looks bigger than it actually is, but you cannot really fit this in your pocket. This, easily. So this is a reason number one. This actually can go in your back pocket of your jeans, or if you're a woman like me, it can go in your purse and basically fits anywhere, and it weighs practically nothing, so light, and it's so portable that your back will never hurt and you will always have a good camera with you. That's reason number one. So when did I buy this camera in the first place? Do I have enough experience to talk about it? I own this little camera since the beginning of the year, so I'm shooting with it practically since January 1st. And at first when I got it, I was like, yeah, it feels quite plasticky. I don't know if it's gonna last. If you look at it pretty up close, it's already quite beat up. And this thing that you actually can take off, this ring, it is actually, come on, focus on the ring. This ring, it looks actually pretty much beat up, but doesn't matter. But so far it's been 10 months and it's working perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it. So it would obviously be an understatement to say that I didn't need another camera because I have 10 cameras there already. So before buying yourself a Ricoh GR, you have to answer a question whether you like to shoot with 28mm or 40. Personally, I prefer 40 because I like my focal length somewhere between 35 and 50, and 40 fits pretty much in the middle of there. The quality of the images that comes out of this camera is outstanding as for me. It has 24 megapixels, and only with a few Fujifilm cameras you can get on the cropped sensor 2 more megapixels, but I don't think it's gonna make your day. The only drawback is that with this camera at higher ISOs there's quite a lot of grain, but because it has 3-axis image stabilization inside, which you can hear when you move this camera around, you can stop down your shutter speed, and unless your subject is moving, you can get pictures without noise. But otherwise, embrace the noise. Noise is life. There's nothing scary about noise. Noise is part of life. I love the way that this camera exposes. I usually use the highlight weighted metering, and this camera is the only camera that I have which has this option to expose for the highlights, and the shadows are becoming quite dark, which I like. And since we have a lot of these contrasty situations in the place where I live, it works really well. Another thing, guys, I cannot explain to you how much I love the fact that this does not break my back when I carry it around. It's so small that oftentimes when I take it out and take pictures in places, the security guards don't even notice me, or they don't think much about this camera. They obviously don't know there's 24 megapixels of very sharp images. Or maybe they even think that I'm just shooting with my phone. It's just some black thing out there. This thing literally fits anywhere in any camera bag. So this camera is always with you, and the camera that is with you is the one that's gonna give you the best pictures of your life, because otherwise you'll have to be shooting with your phone. Again, there's nothing wrong with shooting with a phone. The phones produce amazing pictures nowadays, but cannot, press all these buttons and change all the settings if you have the phone. So another thing that I'm using quite often with this camera, I have set up this button, which is over here, which is supposed to put the timer on the camera, which I obviously never use, to set up the crop. So with one press, I can shoot from 40mm to 50 to 71. And I find that I shoot quite a lot of 71mm because I just like, more zoomed in or more cropped field of view. And it's maybe not for everybody, because I saw people on the internet complaining that crop, reduces the image resolution and you cannot print the crop and whatnot. But honestly, for me it works quite well, and I think you can still very much print it. It's good. So this 3-axis image stabilization not only helps you with dealing with higher ISO's grain, but you can use it so that you don't have to use the tripod and shoot long exposures. On top of that, this camera has a built-in ND filter inside of it, so in case you're standing next to a beautiful waterfall and you want to shoot it with the silky water, you can just stand still and put in the ND filter and press, and here you go, your perfect silky water waterfall picture is ready, and you didn't even have to set up the tripod. Another handy feature of this camera, which a lot of people are buying it for, is called a snap focus. So a snap focus is a focus that you can preset, and when you full press the button right away, it's gonna take the picture at the focal distance that you set up. So mine is set to infinity because over the summer I have had to shoot quite a lot of landscapes from a moving car because there was no place to stop, because of a lot of people with vans and mobile homes, and a lot of people who decided that it's too hot for them to stay in their home country in summer, so we're all gonna go to Norway, and including me, so I was there. So yeah, there was no place to stop, but there were still beautiful views, and the only way to get these views is to open your window and to shoot. And if you just try to focus, obviously the camera will try to focus on some fence or some rocks or whatever, but if you have it preset to infinity, you press and the mountains and everything there is perfectly focused and beautiful. But if you're shooting street photography, so I changed this setting into focusing on 2.5 meters or 3.5 meters, depending on how I feel like how close people are to me when I do street photography, and it works pretty well. But if you still do the half press to focus, like it will press wherever you want to focus, or if you will press on the screen to focus in the area, it will still focus wherever you want. Otherwise, the focus in this camera is not super sharply working, like it's not super, right away where you want it. And on top of that, there is no, like on this Fujifilm, there is this nipple that you can move around and choose the focal point. So if you're looking in a viewfinder, on top of that, this camera doesn't have a viewfinder. It has this that you can pay like quite expensively for to look through, but it just shows you something that is roughly happening, but it's not viewfinder that talks to the camera. But it's actually quite handy if it's too bright to see the screen, or you just want to save the battery and use the viewfinder. It's fine. It doesn't help that much, but doesn't hurt to have it as well. So let's talk about the bunch of things that people find annoying in this camera. One of which is, of course, this battery. So obviously, look at the size of this thing. This is the battery. It is rated for something like 170 shots, maybe 200. I mean, I don't know what you can expect from a battery of this size. Like, compare it to the Fuji battery. Like, this is the Fuji battery, this is the Ricoh battery. Like, and I will tell you one thing, this thing is not better than this thing. Like, Fujifilm will not get you any further than Ricoh. And honestly, I have never run out of battery apart from one time when I went on a photo walk and I managed to shoot 400 images on this small battery. And I mean, if you're the person who is worried about the battery, then get a second battery. I mean, good luck trying to find it, but just get another one. Why being worried? On top of that, you can charge this camera with any USB portable charger. And in case you're worried or in case you're running out of battery, just take a coffee break, charge up your battery, and continue going. Like, the battery is not that bad. It will last you for a while. Like, it will last you for probably at least 2 hours of photo walk. I mean, it also does heat up quite a lot, but it did not overheat on me, at least yet. The Fujifilm did. Like, one time I went out and it was, I mean, okay, fair enough, it was 45 degrees Celsius, and we were in the open sun, and Fuji was saying, I cannot deal with this, it's too much for me. Ricoh, I mean, the other day I left it in the car and I took it out and it was really, really warm, but we're still shooting fine. Like, I didn't even complain or anything. Hopefully nothing is melting inside, but yeah. The battery could be better, but if you are planning to have something of this size, you have to deal with the fact that the battery can only be this size and this capacity. The other thing that you might not find so attractive about this camera is the price. Yeah, it's quite expensive, but all the cameras nowadays are expensive. It's a good camera, has image quality that is very decent, so I guess that's the price. It's actually very hard to find it on the market. You cannot find it in any shops in Dubai. You have to buy it online and it's overpriced. But if you want it, that's the price to pay. The other thing is, some people would say, but you know, there's no separation, 2.8. This is a 2.8 minimum f-stop. There is no separation, but this is not your Canon, you know, 85mm 1.2. So like, separation is not something that people actually should expect from it. Secondly, yes, you buy 40mm or 28mm, you're stuck with that. There are options to buy extenders or a wide-angle lens. I mean, I don't know, why would you want to buy a wider angle lens if you have 28mm? For GRiiX there is a magnifier, so you can shoot at something like maybe 100mm, but it will use the crop in the camera, and some people don't like it because there is loss of quality or loss of megapixels or whatnot. I mean, I think if you're looking for portability, like, you just have to stick to the fact that this is what it is. One obvious lacking feature in this camera, I mean, it's not really lacking because it does exist there, is the video features. The video, I mean, I'm gonna shoot it right now, and hello friend, like, it just wouldn't focus. It wouldn't focus at all. Anyway, forget about it. It's not working there. Overall, I have used this camera for 10 months. I have shot 7,000 images. I have taken it to many countries, and it's just a joy to use. If you can customize it, you can put the presets in it and tweak it to your liking. You can choose different settings. The Wi-Fi application, I think, works more reliably than Fujifilm one, so I cannot complain about it, although I saw people complaining about it. This camera is brilliant. It's honestly everyday camera. I never leave my apartment without this camera, and there's always a picture to take. It's just a joy to have. It's like my best friend. Whether you should buy one or you should consider buying one, it's up to you. Whatever features you are enjoying or liking, like honestly, some people really like the presets that you can put in Fujifilms, but as for me, they often look very yellow and just not contrasty enough. I love the contrasty looks that Ricoh is able to give me. And yeah, I mean, what else do you want to know? If you want to know more, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later. Bye!